It's now been announced there's going to be a digital first series going to DC Universe's platform, which is going to be a Batman'89 and a Superman'78 comic series. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode of Legends of Podcasting. Now, joining me in the Wave Rider, we have...
Very excited, Stuart.
And I'm a very 70s Rob.
And I'm Liam. So, all right, so let's jump into it. So, Stuart, why don't you fill us in?
Okay, so it came up earlier this week. Articles exploded onto my Facebook page every single day since that DC are doing, as you say, Liam, 2 new comic book series, starting off digital first and then going into paperback of our childhood. This is great being mid-30s, right? This is literally us to a T, right?
Absolutely.
This is the best thing ever. So we've got a Batman'89 book coming out, following on from the Tim Burton movies. And I got some facts about that, and then also the Christopher Reeve Superman as well. So I think we'll take them separately. But just so there's a big article on it, we can put in some links in some comments. But to paraphrase a little bit, is the 89 one is going to be set. So it sounds like post Batman Returns, even though it's going to be called Batman'89, because it has in it some of the characters they want it to return. They've got the return of Catwoman, because obviously in the end of Batman Returns, she didn't actually technically die.
Oh, it'd be good to continue that story. That's going to be interesting. So, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. There's going to be a Robin.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'm like massive.
I know that Tim Burton originally had the plan to have Robin in it somewhere at a point. So that's going to be interesting.
It's not going to be Chris O'Donnell, is it?
No. Well, because originally it was meant to be one of the Wayans brothers, right? It was meant to be. That's who it originally was going to be. So I don't know. It's going to be one of the Wayans brothers. So I don't know if they're going to carry on with that. And then finally, and also the other big one is to fulfill the destiny of Harvey Dent that never got to happen.
Yeah, Billy D. Williams, wasn't it, in the films? Yeah, that was going to be really cool.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's been there's lots of concept art sort of going along the bottom of our stream at the moment that they've already started doing. But it's actually the writer of the 89 and Returns movie is going to be writing it. Who is Sam Hamm? Sam Hamm. I love his name as well. Sam Hamm. And then the artist, I'm going to butcher his surname, is called Joe Quinons, and he does Dial H for Hero, which I haven't actually read, but yeah, he's doing the artwork. But from the actual just concept art, let's say that's going along the bottom, I sent to you guys earlier this week. I mean, I'm super happy about that front cover.
Oh yeah, the concept art looks fantastic. Like I think it looks beautiful. One of my favorite comic books growing up was the official comic book adaptation of Batman'89. That comic, I mean, I have no idea what happened to it anymore because I read it so much and I took it everywhere. The thing was all ratty and falling apart, and like the staples had all kind of fallen out. But damn it, I loved that comic and read that so many times. Like that's Batman'89. It's a fantastic Batman movie. I love Tim Burton's take on Batman. I love that we're seeing this continue on comics. I'm super excited.
So I guess the question is, since we're moving over into comic book logic, will they bring back any of the deceased characters like the Joker, Jack Nicholson's Joker? Or I guess you'd have to get the license rights from the man himself, and he's probably not going to give those up too easily.
Oh man, if it makes the guy money, I'm sure he's not going to buy him. So it's absolutely fine. But I mean, like I say, we're all mid 30s onwards, so we've grown up. Keaton is our Batman, is what you say. And I remember, like, I think me and Rob went with a few other people a couple of years ago, 2 years ago.
Must have been about.
Saw it actually in the cinema.
Like, it can't have been last year due to COVID. But,
no, exactly. I was thinking it definitely was last year because everything was closed down. So yeah, the year before, we actually went to the cinema and watched it, and then some of the people that worked on the film like talked about it afterwards.
Yeah, that was quite.
Just because being 89, so I was like 5 at the time. I wasn't allowed to obviously go to the cinema and watch it, so I never actually got to experience it in the cinema, and it was so amazing. Just as that music and just it still stands up now. I watch it every day.
It's funny. I remember it was only after I'd moved to America and I'd seen the news from when it was fully destroyed, but the Gotham City that they made from Batman'89 just stayed. That set just sat there in England for years, completely empty. I'm like, if we'd known about that, like that such a thing existed, that we would have to have found a way to have gone there and break in and walk around Gotham City. So gutted. I only found out about it after the fact. That would have been cool. So Joker-wise, I'm pretty sure I saw it in the concept art. There's what looks like someone. It's clearly not the Joker, but someone dressed up like the Joker.
Yeah,
I think I saw that in the concept
they
art.
appear to be.
Yeah,
now,
so
they look very much like the Jokers with the Z gang from the Batman Beyond series, but brought back into a 1980s aesthetic. So I kind of wonder if they've taken that concept and mashed that into this Tim Burton-esque universe, which I think would mash quite well, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't the animated shows, especially the just that universe, they take place off the back of the Batman, or the original Batman cartoon series did anyway. It was supposed to be a continuation of the show.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, very interesting to see how they bring that in. Also, looks like there's an update Commissioner Gordon, also Harvey Bullock as well.
There's an image of that running across the bottom. So
I mean, I can't wait to see what they can do with the story, because you've got all these other villains that they obviously never did in the show. And it's just so exciting. I can't wait to just see that Batmobile in a comic book driving through the streets of Gotham. It'll be absolutely insane.
So Stuart, do you like that Batmobile at all?
That one right there.
Yeah.
This rise and joy that I have in my man cave. Oh yes, that is the definitive of all Batmobiles for me.
Yeah. So let's say for a moment, Batmobiles. What is the best Batmobile?
The 89. 100%.
Yeah, from pure comic book aesthetics translated to cinema screen, the 89 one for me. Although I do like aspects of the other Batmobiles, it's just you look at the thing behind Stuart's head and you're like, yeah, that's Batman's car. There's no other way. How else should you describe that? Yeah. It can't turn worth a damn, but it's Batman's car. It's just so.
Actually, amongst the hot toys behind you, Stuart, do you have a Batman 89 and a Joker 89?
Yep.
Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, 89, and you got returns behind it as well.
Nice.
That's my little like Tim Burton shelf.
Very, very cool.
It's what it's like to have to.
It's
just.
This is years of investment, so it's fine. It's all good. So yes, I mean that is the Batman one, which is is obviously very, very exciting. The other news, which we obviously have coming up, is there's a Christopher Reeve, Richard Donner Superman one coming out as well.
Now, my only question for this series is: it going to include Nuclear Man? From arguably the best of the Reeves.
Well, if it's Richard Donner, so that's the thing, actually, Stuart. What do we know about this?
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. So it's stated in the description that Lois Lane doesn't know who he is. So it's preset Superman 2.
When did she?
It's pre-Superman 2. So this.
I suppose she technically forgot about it by the end. But you know.
Yeah, because he did the date rape kiss.
Yeah.
One of Superman's lesser-known powers.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's gonna be preset as a time where Lois Lane doesn't know who he is. So I thought it was quite interesting. So, and again, Superman, I mean, even though it's a lot older movie, that was the Superman that we grew up with. Bar the Dean Cain show, I suppose, is like the other.
Dean Cain was,
well,
loved that Superman show.
Well, it's what everyone goes back
Christopher
to.
Reeve.
Yeah. It's why even Zack Snyder gets pissed off when he's like, oh, but yeah, there's a reason why everyone goes and talks about Christopher Reeve Superman, because it's almost a pitch-perfect portrayal of what that character is. You know, he's hope, he's justice, and the American way rolled into one package. You know.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve is the iconic Superman, iconic on-screen Superman. So I think it's awesome to see a continuation of that universe, and presumably then that sounds like it's following on after Superman 2. I assume if this is the Richard Donner version, then we're going off the Donner cut.
Well, that's a good question to raise at that point. Do you think they could start the series with Superman 1 and 2 again and do the Donner cut in its entirety as a comic book, rather than having what we got in the end on the cinema screen?
I mean, maybe. At the moment, the way this is describing it, saying it's where the film left off. So it's
maybe
not.
But yeah, it'd be cool to see.
The sort of post.
Because I've got the DVD of Superman 1 and 2 where it's got this is what Richard Donner had in mind, and you've got some unfinished animatics where they tried to put the film back together as it should have been seen in his vision. So you got where I think it's the Superman 1 and 2 are one continuous story, because you got the Zod being thrown into the Phantom Zone at the start of 1, and then it carries on into 2.
There were. Yeah.
So I would.
Yeah, they shuffle it around. I've got that somewhere.
Like it would make sense. You've got this comic format to tell that story from beginning to end properly. But hey, if they're gonna wipe out 3 in Quest for Peace, then I'm kind of on board with that. So that's.
It's kind of funny along those lines there that with these comics, they're with both the Batman one and the Superman one, they're sticking with the first 2 and ignoring what came afterwards.
I've got a soft spot for that third one, man.
That's the one with Richard Pryor, isn't it?
Yeah,
both
Richard Pryor
keys at the same time.
we quote that film more than any other, and especially the fight in the sort of scrapyard where it's like Clark Kent versus Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, although it's sort of corny, it's just really empowering. Of like, he can sort of vanquish the evil out of him and stuff. It's very interesting. But yeah, the first 2 are obviously a masterpiece in themselves. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess going for both comic books, what kind of bad guys would you want to show up that haven't already been in it? Because I mean, Superman, question. It was only really Zod that showed up in the second one.
Yeah, so his only enemies that he's had has been Lex Luthor and Zod. Yeah, so we've got everything open. Brainiac's got to be the obvious thing that we're going to go back to.
I was thinking
that would be interesting.
Brainiac in a 78 Superman
78 version
aesthetic. Yeah, it's
a 70 version of Brainiac. Yeah, you might like have an afro.
It's probably like a really disappointing Brainiac, is what it would be.
It'd be like the Return to the Forbidden Planet kind of like old style robot. It'll look like something like that. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Something like
danger,
that.
Clark Kent. Parallel.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how they take these sort of more villains and bring them back into the 70s.
Especially if they try to put Marlon Brando's face in the comic book. That's going to cause all kinds of problem with the estate. He was Jor-El in the original show, so that's a...
Yes.
That is a good question. Like, what villains would you want to see him up against?
Well, it's actually for Batman.
I would not want to see Doomsday. I don't want to see like a 78 take on
Doomsday.
No.
Lobo? Maybe show up?
Lobo.
Oh, Lobo could work.
70s Lobo? I mean, he'd be totally awesome.
I'll tell you what would make a good villain in the 78 film aesthetic carried over to the comic books would probably be Toyman.
Toyman. There's some classic toys coming out of that one.
Yeah, that could totally work.
I'm trying to think of something a little more goofball. So,
you know what I'm going to say at this point? I will say, people listening to the audio version of this podcast, this is actually a live broadcast that we do on our YouTube channel. So if you've not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, head over to YouTube, look for Legends of Podcast, and click subscribe that subscribe button. And why aren't you already? So we actually do recordings live on YouTube now. But I want to throw out to our people in the chat room, if you want to put in there, like, who do you think, or who would you like to see as the villains in this Batman'89 comic series or the Superman'78 series? What villains do you want to see come up?
I mean, it's an obvious choice.
And we'll come back to that in a moment once you get... Once
it's an obvious choice for Batman, given that she's quite hot property at the moment, would be Harley Quinn, because obviously the Joker's dead in that universe, as far as we know. So you've got the opportunity to bring her in as a standalone character. As actually
try and bring her in without the Joker though, like because
you've got these Jokers.
I know now she's her own character.
Yeah,
but like there's this big part of her being sort of with the Joker and being abused by Joker, and that's what makes her even more. So, I mean, I love Harley Quinn. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Maybe if it's a continuous series, it goes on for a long time. At the moment, I think it's just going to be a very short run.
Yeah,
but that'd be cool. I mean, I like a Mr. Freeze would be pretty cool. And it'd be interesting to see. If obviously, you can ignore the
Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
Yeah, the Joe Schumacher one, bringing sort of a more darker, Tim Burton-y type Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been a massive fan, and I'd love them to be put in a movie, but it'd just be like CG overload of like Clayface or Man-Bat.
I was thinking that as well. Like Clayface could be cool.
But obviously that's heavy CG, so it wouldn't really fit into the Tim Burton world, because obviously that was...
You know what? Hush could.
Hush would be pretty cool. Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Hush. I feel like Hush could work with the '89 Batman.
It's really weird. Hush was in the Batman Beyond comic. They continued it with, and they did that really well. So it'd be quite cool to see how they do it with a. I'm trying to think. What I'm trying to do when I'm thinking about this is putting myself into the mindset of an '80s movie writer and thinking about how you bring that character to life and then put it into that aesthetic. And it's kind of. Yeah, I can see Stu. I can see Mr. Freeze in that sort of heavy Burton-esque armor and not walking around with an Austrian accent, making bad jokes the entire time he's on screen. But
well, okay, if you're also going into that '89 mindset, you're also thinking about selling toys and Happy Meals. So that's the kind of characters. McDonald's was so upset when they had the artwork for a penguin. We can't stick that on a Happy Meal. So, all right, with that in mind, then. And then thinking of villains, who would you add into an '89 Batman or a '78 Superman that you could also put on lunchboxes and sell toys and put on Happy Meals?
Well, funny you say that. Looking at our comments, we've got David Corrigan's mentioned Parasite, so McDonald's has already got a giant purple lump, so it'd be quite easy to smash the two together.
Nice.
Oh, and Mr. Mrs.
Parasite could work
as well. Mixes Pidlick as well. Get the
Mrs. Pidlick could be a good one because that's the sort of when I was reading when I used to read the comics. I think I still got one here somewhere. It was sort of the '80s, like when they used to draw it like Christopher Reeve. I've got a comic book of Mixed Pidlick showing up, and it just reminded me of Christopher Reeve, and I was like, that'd be cool to see. So that'd be a good one.
Oh, and just a quick shout out to my friend. Hi, Mike. I see my friend Mike's just joined the chat. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike. And well, I do love it along those lines you said, Stuart. Every now and again, when you get an artist in the comics who draws Superman like Christopher Reeve, I love that. It happens periodically over the years. I always like that.
One of my favorite artists, I've got like quite a few of my graphic novels signed by him, is Gary Frank, and he like all of his comic books. He did the Superman Brainiac story that is very Christopher Reeve, and there's like the Origins Superman, and I think the Superman and the Legends of not Legends of Tomorrow, it's different. Legions of Superheroes.
Legends of Podcasting?
Yeah, Legends of Podcasting. Superman and the Legends of Podcasting. That famous comic book they brought out a few years ago. The Legion of Superheroes. It's like this sort of series that he did. I can't remember if he did Return of Krypton as well. But they're all very like I'll send some pictures afterwards. It's very much Christopher Reeve Superman. He literally just draws it spot on. So yeah, I'm very.
So I see Jay's also made the point of saying he'd love to see Scarecrow in a Batman '89.
That would work in a Burton aesthetic. That would be really cool.
That's a great idea.
I want that. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to be disappointed.
Now you've said it, Jay. We're just going to be disappointed if we don't get this.
Well, I do kind of get the impression they're going to start that series off with Billy D. Williams' Harvey Dent, because that was the obvious where they were going with that.
But they're doing this as a digital first, which is one of the big things on DC Universe, on the DC Universe Infinite, is that there's going to be constant digital first comics coming out on there. And where my phone is, I have DC Universe Infinite subscription, and so with that in mind, I'd imagine so long as a title like this is gets a lot of people interested in it, we're going to see this continue for a while. It seems like an obvious one to continue. When you think of the other titles that they've done in print, like Wonder Woman, which year is it?
77.
When they continue from the TV series. Yeah, the Wonder Woman TV show. They did the comic for it.
They brought that out. Yeah.
75?
Yeah.
Yeah, that comic, I think that's still going on. And that was like a couple of years ago. So, and there's been a couple of, and the Batman '66 comic as well has continued running.
They're really good. They've done they recently brought out, I think it was end of last year, the Batman the Animated Series TV show. They've done a comic book, so like the adventures continued, and it was meant to be like a 6-part miniseries, but I think I'm on issue 8 now, so they just continue. They've actually brought the Red Hood into the animated series now.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, it's really good. It's just really nice. Again, being like the age we are, like my Batmans are the animated series and the Michael Keaton. So it's literally they're bringing it back into comic book form and just getting more stories of it. I read as well another rumor that they're talking about bringing the animated TV show back to HBO Max at some point. That's a whole other conversation we need to have. But
with the original creative team, I think is the deal.
They tried to modernize it just wouldn't work. They need to keep it.
Yeah, my understanding is it's the same writers, the same like everyone who worked on it originally. They're bringing back to continue it.
Which will be insane. I mean, what a time to be what alive, just bringing everything back. This must be what people like that originally liked the Star Wars, and then when they started bringing everything, well, maybe not the prequels, but started bringing other stuff back, and they were like,
not the prequels, or the other sequels. Or, no, hold on.
Mike in the chat makes a good point. It says for Batman '89 we should bring Condiment King in. It's just...
I mean, every show needs Condiment King. Swear to God, that was like the best Harley Quinn animated show is when Condiment King showed up.
So Mohammed Kazmi, hi, is saying for Batman '89 comics he wants to see Ra's al Ghul, Killer Moth, Wrath, Black Mask, Jeremiah Arkham, and Calendar Man.
That'd be an interesting one.
Well, they did
on this. So Ra's al Ghul, could you do that in Batman '89? You could do a version of it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how much they develop the character, won't it be? Because, yeah, I mean, Ra's al Ghul's obviously a great character to throw in. He's been done a few different ways, so it'd be interesting to see which way they go for it, and if they brought Talia into it, and all that kind of stuff, bringing sort of maybe the romance, because he's obviously gone through Vicky Vale and Selena Kyle already in that universe, so he hasn't got many love interests left. And Batman's a bit of a playboy, so the fact he's running out is a bit worrying. He needs a Wonder Woman or a Talia al Ghul to distract him. But yeah, but no, I'd like to see it. Yeah,
Mike Gow also said he wants Crazy Quilt.
Okay, we'll just put King Tut and Egghead in it as well. It's so crazy. Bring all those in.
Well, it's funny you say that because I don't think I know you're not a fan of the artwork in it, Stu, but Long Halloween brought Calendar Man into it in the original comic, and that was quite a really dark take on that character. So that might fit in with the '89 look.
Yeah, no, I do love it when they take a character, someone like Calendar Man, and he's kind of a joke, I guess, to a certain extent, and they turn him into some sort of hot, like really nasty bad guy. I was like, I remember because that Mad Hatter would be another good one as well. I quite like the Mad Hatter. I mean, I loved what they did with the Mad Hatter in Gotham, because the Mad Hatter before I'd only ever seen in like Batman the Animated Series. He was quite goofy, and it was very much he had this girl he loved called Alice, and it was all very like. But then in Gotham, he was like the best thing of Gotham for me. That whole series.
The whole series was fantastic. They did a great version of every character they took on.
Yeah, but that Mad Hatter, I thought was actually like, Jesus, this guy is actually really dangerous. So that would be quite a cool one to do. Now I want that to happen as well. These things don't happen.
So we're talking a lot about Batman '89 comic here. So there's a lot of excitement on that. So let's pivot back over to Superman, because we're not like what. I don't think we've actually settled on any villains that we want to see come in on this.
No, it's difficult, right? Because I've always had this conversation with like Ross and a few others. Is that Batman's got such a big rogues gallery? It's quite easy to pick. But like Superman, I could probably count maybe 10 if I could push the bag for proper bad guys. Where Batman, I could probably go to about 30. But I mean, like his big ones are Brainiac, Lobo, Parasite.
Like you say, we've already had Zod and Lex Luthor in the films, and if they're carrying on after that, you can't really put those two in.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you could bring Lex Luthor back into it, right? Because they brought him back in the film.
It's the film version of Lex Luthor. He's more of a real estate mogul than a super evil scientist, so it's kind of a weird take to do on that character.
That's Otisburg.
Yeah.
So, would you want to see, as this is carrying on from Superman 2, would you want to see Bizarro?
Yeah, that's a good choice.
That'd be an interesting one. Yeah.
You could. That's kind of what I thought they were going to do with Quest for Peace before they brought Nuclear Man around out of it. So it's kind of a similar concept. So,
I guess because they couldn't really. I guess the technology back then, you couldn't just have two Christopher Reeves on screen because it'd been very difficult to do. So, well, they did it with him and Clark Kent. But yeah, I think the Nuclear Man was going to be the sort of Bizarro because like a stupid guy with similar powers, right? Who's made out of Superman's DNA. It's like their version of it.
And if you're not careful, he'll fly alongside you and scratch you. It's dangerous, that.
Yeah. So they could do a Metallo.
Oh, that'd be a good one. Yeah.
That could work in a 78 Superman universe.
Sort of rogue science.
Because you can have
gone mad.
Yeah.
You could have like Intergang and stuff be in it as well, I guess. Sort of
Intergang, yeah, I feel like that makes a lot of sense. That's a very classic Superman universe kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could do something crazy like Darkseid, but I don't know if they could go there. It'd be way too dark for a happy light comic book.
Yeah.
Colours.
Yeah, I think you'd want to stay away from that just because we're doing that in the Justice League movie. I don't think we need to go all the way down that road.
Yeah, and I agree with you. What you mentioned earlier about Doomsday. I think you'd have to steer clear of that.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do Doomsday, not in a 78 Superman. But now, more I think about it, Metallo, I think makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
can absolutely work in this a kryptonite powered, person, cyborg thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Atomic Skull just pops up in the chat.
Okay.
That's a good shout. Atomic Skull, rather than Nuclear Man as a.
Good to see you, Atomic Skull.
Well, no, the character from David Corrigan suggestion there.
We had someone join the chat on a previous live broadcast who was called Atomic Skull.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I thought it was that person coming back. Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just saying, if you want to, because the 78 Superman is all about that nuclear era. So if you wanted to do nuclear-themed villains, Atomic Skull's a better choice than making some random dude who his fingernails grow a little bit when he's upset. It's just
depowers in the darkness.
Yeah.
Hang on. Mike Go is saying Metallo, but it's just the Michael Jackson robot from Moonwalker.
Yes, please. That would be amazing.
Good God.
Someone needs to do a meme of that now.
I don't think DC have understood what they've done here.
Oh, absolutely amazing. Oh, there's so many things I want to. I know it's coming out in July, so we've got a while to wait yet. But I mean, it's going to be great fun to see what happens when it does come out.
But looking forward to it. So in other news, there was some late breaking news that came up just before we decided to come live, which is some casting news for the upcoming Flashpoint movie in the DC Extended Universe. Stuart, why don't you fill us in on that details?
Damn it, I haven't got that to hand. Okay, yeah. So they've cast a Supergirl in the movie, as if this movie didn't have enough characters already in it.
Yeah, there's quite a few characters in this movie at this point.
Yeah, so they've now got 2 Batmans, or maybe even 3. They've got Flash. They potentially, you said there's the rumors they've dropped Cyborg now. I think Cyborg is going to be.
Yeah, apparently Cyborg has been written from the rewrites of the script. The Cyborg character is no longer in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a common thing that happens a lot on the rewriting of scripts, where you're got to make it fit within a certain time frame. And one of the things that's easy that happens a lot is you identify a character's story arc, and if you just remove them from it, you find you've cut out a lot of pages.
Yeah. It's not because Ray Fisher's like.
There's a lot of behind the scenes drama
Ray
as well.
Fisher's not happy about it.
Yeah, well, Ray Fisher's being an idiot, so it's just.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think this is why the Supergirl CW show's been cancelled? Maybe because what they did it in when they brought the Suicide Squad movie out. They cancelled the Suicide Squad from Arrow because they thought, people are going to get confused. There's going to be 2 of them at the same time.
It's funny. They've pivoted on that back and forth. I think Supergirl got cancelled because of ratings. Like you saw the ratings were gradually going down. It's a shame, as you guys know. Like I really like the Supergirl TV show. Like the writing on it is really good. Sure, you can moan about the effects at times, but if you can look past the effects, which is still so much better than anything. Well, they're still so much better than what we had when we were growing up.
Yeah,
so
fair
it's
enough.
Still it's a TV budget, and every TV show, as every season goes along, the budget gets reduced every time. So they're expected to do more with less money. So makes sense, especially with a character like Supergirl, and we're going to see this with Superman, is that you're going to need to be spending the money on the special effects to have a lot of the action that you want to see. But it's just not going to look as good with less money. Anyway, the writing was good. I think that's why the show got cancelled. But Supergirl coming into it, which by the way is Sasha Cale or Callie, is the actress who's been cast in the role. So if we're looking at the DC universe, there'd always been the rumor that Supergirl was going to be popping up. And when you go back to Man of Steel, when you had when walking around the ship and you saw the one little hibernation pod, which had been open and empty. So like, someone got out. And there was that rumor back then that, it was Supergirl.
It was Cara Danvers,
Yeah.
Or Cara Zor-El, sorry. Yeah.
So I wonder if they are going to make that the point and say that it is actually, that was the deal, that she got out of that pod. But it is interesting as well because the movie's called Flashpoint. But I mean, the directors even has said it was, I think it was in July last year, he made a point of saying this is a very, very different Flashpoint to what you read in the comics. It's called Flashpoint because it's about Flash going back in time and screwing with the timeline, which is what Flash does best.
But damn it, Barry.
And, yeah.
Run, Barry, run.
And then when he comes back, it's like, oh, it is different. So yeah, we're getting a bunch of different characters. It's going to be very different. I have no idea what we're going to expect with this story. It's kind of cool to see that we're getting Supergirl in this. So I have because we have no idea what this story is going to be. I have no idea what her role is going to be in it. But we do know, with Michael Keaton being in it, that apparently I read an article saying that Michael Keaton is meant to stick around and be some kind of a mentor to superheroes in it. So this is bringing him into it and then him potentially sticking around beyond this movie.
Like a Batman Beyond.
Like a Batman Beyond. Yeah.
I see what you did there.
I mean, I've read lots of articles, again, it's probably clickbait, the past couple of weeks, of Michael Keaton apparently being Old Man Bruce in the Batman Beyond TV show on HBO Max, which is what we have been speaking about for so many years. Since he came back as the Vulture, I was like, he looks like Old Man Bruce, man. Just give him the role.
Give the fans what they want.
That's what, yeah, exactly. They're bringing back everything else. I don't see why you wouldn't bring that back. But yeah, I'm very excited. So yes, I'm gonna see. Well, once more news breaks on this, on what she's going to be doing in the movie, we'll do another.
Well, I think once as we said in the chat, it's 4 weeks out the Snyder Cut. So once that's come and gone, and we've done our talk about it and we've moved on, HBO will go, right, now the focus is off that. We can focus putting more stuff out about Supergirl and Flash and get that pushed out into the limelight, and that's going to be the next big project. Because is that, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the last of the old DCEU projects that they're putting together. You got the Snyder Cut, this Flashpoint movie, and then that Aquaman 2 maybe. Was there still? Is that still
Shazam
in
2?
Shazam 2.
Yeah.
And then after
you got Shazam and the Black Adam movie as well.
Yeah, and after that, that's kind of the end of the DCEU, and then they're going to change it up, maybe move it forward.
Suicide Squad, maybe? But yeah.
Oh yeah, Suicide Squad as well. I forgot that's even a thing.
Yeah. But I think the idea is that the DCEU is still going to continue. I think is going to be the understanding, the deal. But Snyder is done after Justice League. That's it. He's done. He's off. And with his approach to the Snyder Cut, he's not having any worries about making sure that this is going to connect up with any other DC movies after this. He's just focusing on telling the story that he wanted to tell, and now he's done, which is cool. And by all accounts, I really think that you don't need to have the movies so closely knitted into each other that you have to watch one to understand another one. So they should be able to function as standalone, just like Shazam works perfectly as a standalone movie. So yeah, I think we can still see more of this, of the DCEU continue, but the connections just be loose. And I think that's fine. So then, actually, this brings it to the point. So we now know Supergirl is appearing in Flashpoint. Do you want to see a standalone Supergirl movie come from, be a spin-off out of this?
I mean, if the interest is still there for her after the TV show, and we know that there were, like yourself, Liam, and your girls, there are fans out there for that character now that weren't around before the show came out, because she's not had that much limelight in the public eye, even though she's quite a big character in the comics. I think there's enough interest there that she could move that out as a film and then bounce the characters back up into the public eye again, maybe.
Yeah, I think it could be cool to get a proper big screen treatment of Supergirl. I think it could work. I think it'd be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how this actress's portrayal of Supergirl is. I'm just going to look over to the comments for a moment. We see what we got here. Jay Panel is saying, could this lead to a Supergirl movie? Oh, that's literally what we just said. I think if fans like her in the role, it would be inevitable for her to get a movie.
Definitely. And Cavill in the same movie, even that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But that would be amazing, and that would make a lot of sense to do that as well. Yeah. Absolutely do. Maybe it's a Supergirl movie with Superman in it. You know, Supergirl's the main character that we're following, but Superman can come in and at points. Mike is saying, I think DC would be a little gun shy about another female-led movie after the reception of Wonder Woman 84.
Well,
Well, I think hopefully they'll learn from Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
And do better. I mean, it's going to be a different director would be treating it. I assume they wouldn't be given to Patty again. It's just a shame. She did such a good job with the first Wonder Woman movie.
And she's a generally good director. She's a good director in general. And I don't know what she did she's had an off month or so when she was filming Wonder Woman, but yeah.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 84 was very disappointing just because after the first Wonder Woman movie, that was such a good movie.
Yeah,
it was going to be hard to beat that, anyway, but it came so far lower than that. It's a shame.
Yeah, we've got about a minute left before the connection.
Wrap up.
All right, so let's wrap it up. So that's all from this episode of Legends of Podcasting. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about all of this, and don't forget to click that subscribe button so you're notified as we have new episodes come out. And if you listen to the audio podcast, go. This is also available on whatever podcast platforms you like to listen to. Just look for Legends of Podcasting. Click that subscribe button, and you'll be notified whenever we have new episodes out. So that's all from me.
It's all from me.
That's it from me.
And we'll see you same bat time, same bat channel.